I've done it. I've surpassed them all. Throughout heaven and the digital world, I alone am the Digidestined. The hell's a Shakamon? The closest Digimon to Yggdrasil? Really? I guess the archetype must have some really good effects.
Think fast, Chuckle Nuts!
Welcome to Sauce or Loss, where we look at the cards coming out and seeing if Bandai was cooking or if they were just creating delicious pack filler. This week we're looking at the biggest archetype in EX6 Infernal Ascension with a whopping 5 cards of support. That's right, we're talking about Shakamon. This deck's whole gimmick is about giving things security -1. So is this really just Secon Light?
2 + 2 is 4, -1, that's 3 quick maths.
But I'll be honest, when I first saw Gokuumon, Sanzomon, Sagomon, and Cho-Hakkaimon, I didn't think they were part of the same group. And the card game doesn't make that obvious either, as their old support wasn't exactly a cohesive deck. And they always lacked a true boss monster. No, not you, get out of here. With EX6 now out, let's start our journey west and see just how good this line of cards really is. Starting things off with our egg.
Nope.
Our level 3s?
Nope.
How about level 4s?
Nope.
Okay, well I know for sure we have level 5s, and 4 of them at that. Our first level 5 is Gokuumon. A yellow and red level 5 with the on play when attacking. One Digimon gains sec -1 until the end of your opponent's turn. Then, if Digicrossing, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6000 DP or less. All turns, when this Digimon will leave the battle area, return one yellow Digimon from this Digimon's Digivolution cards to the hand. With a Digicross of Digicross -2, Sanzomon, Sagomon, or Cho-Hakkaimon. With the inheritable, when attacking once per turn, one Digimon gains security -1 until the end of your opponent's turn. The security attack -1 from the when attacking on play can be applied to any Digimon, including your own. What are you playing at, Bandai? I swear this will make more sense once we get to the boss monster. But some other interesting things about this card are the Digicross requirements, as when I first read it, I thought you could place all 3 underneath and play it off the cost of 1, but no, it turns out the slash means you can place any one of those 3 named targets underneath, so really it'll cost you 5 when you Digicross. If you wanted to place all 3 underneath, you need a little X, like with Shakamon Cross 7. The all turns to bounce back a source when this thing would leave the field is also really good, especially considering there are a lot of other archetypes that would love to have some sort of recovery effect for when their bodies leave the field. The worst part about this card though is the 6k pop, as really, it's not going to be the most useful, especially considering there are other cards in this archetype that just have better effects. So for that reason, I'm giving it a lot. If you want to pop something 6k or less, just run Crimson Blaze and some red eggs. Up next, we have Sagomon, a yellow and blue level 5 with the same on play when attacking, all turns, different Digicross requirements being Sanzo, Goku, and Cho-Hakkaimon, and a different Digicrossing effect where if this is Digicrossed, one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers can't suspend until the end of their turn. Unlike Gokuumon, I think this Digicross effect is great. Allowing you to either stun a Tamer or a Digimon is fantastic. Takuya applying a warp for game? That's great, but you can't suspend. Single stack deck? Again, can't suspend. And with the sec -1 here, you can actually stun the other body, allowing you for a bit more control with the deck. It may be BT15 Metal Gurumon from Wish.com. But don't sleep on this card. It just might save you from losing. Soft. Preventing your opponent from suspending is a great effect, allows you to better control the board. At least until the overclock effect comes to the west. Up next, we have the all-yellow level 5 Sanzomon, with the same on-play when attacking as good old Gokuumon and Sagomon. Same all turns, different Digicross requirements being for Gokuumon, Sagomon, and Cho-Hakkaimon, and a different if Digicrossing effect, being if Digicrossing, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 Gokuumon, Sagomon, Cho-Hakkaimon, and Shakamon among them to your hand, return the rest to the bottom. So fun fact, this is the only card in the entire archetype, for the EX6 support at least, that digivolves for a cost of 3. All the rest digivolve for a cost of 4. But this is a great searcher for the deck. but the only caveats are that you have to Digicross in order to get the effect, and you can only grab one of each of the stated Digimon. So if you hit doubles, sorry boss, it's one per. And it also can't grab itself. You're going to want to run 4 of them, as basically it's your only searcher. Outside of this and Yellow Mem Boost, and of course, Gokuumon, nothing else really searches in the deck. Sauce, a great searcher that allows you to get up to 4 cards if you're lucky. Our last level 5 is the yellow and black Cho-Hakkaimon, which has, you guessed it, the same on play when attacking and all turns effect as our last 3 Digimon. The Digicross requirements on this one are slightly different, being for Sanzomon, Gokuumon, and Sagomon, and its if Digicrossing effect is if Digicrossing, this Digimon gets 3000 DP and gains blocker until the end of your opponent's turn. Whoa! The only level 5 that's uncommon? That must mean the effect is essential for the deck, right? Oh. 3k blocker. Thanks, Bandai. Really worth the rarity bump. Honestly though, it's not a terrible card for the deck, as if you're hard playing it, it's a 10k blocker that gives sec -1 with the cost of 5. I just wish it did more. If you told me that Sagomon was the uncommon, I'd believe you. If you told me Sanzomon was the uncommon, I'd believe you. But Cho-Hakkai?
Come on, man.
Not really. Loss. Alright, we've arrived at our 5th and final card, Shakamon, which is a yellow level 7 that digivolves for a cost of 4 on level 6, or digivolves from Sanzomon, Gokuumon, Sagomon, or Cho-Hakkai for a cost of 6. It has the on play when digivolving, all Digimon gain security attack -1 until the end of your opponent's turn. All turns, when this Digimon will be deleted or returned to the hand or deck, you may play out 1 Sanzomon and 1 Gokuumon, Sagomon, or Cho-Hakkaimon from this Digimon's Digivolution cards without paying the cost. Your turn, all of your Digimon's security attack minuses are turned into security attack pluses. End of your opponent's turn, you may place 1 Digimon with security attack on top of the owner's security stack. Digicross -2, Sanzomon cross Gokuumon cross Sagomon cross Cho-Hakkaimon. Okay, so you get a security -1, and you get a security -1, and I get a security -1. You get the idea. I actually have a lot of things to talk about for Shakamon, as it has a lot of effects, and they're all really interesting. Starting with the security attack minus, it can turn your inheritables into a weapon for both defensive and offensive purposes, as I could just stack them all onto one of my opponent's cards, or give them all to Shakamon to give it a full maximum security attack +5. The end of opponent's turn effect is also really cool because it allows you to either recover one of your guys on field or send one of your opponent's Digimon to the security. It's basically Chaos Degrade at home, but without the purple. The floating effect is also really good, as if Shakamon will leave the field, you can play out 1 Sanzomon and then one of the other 3. The only caveat being is you're gonna need a lot of cards in hand, and using your other on-play effects, you're gonna need a Digicross. And the Digicross itself isn't too bad. Let's just say you start with the perfect hand. 1 Sanzomon, 1 Gokuumon, 1 Sagomon, and 1 Cho-Hakkaimon, as well as 1 Shakamon. All 5 cards. You just slap this bad boy down for 7, and then the next turn, goodbye all your opponent's security. For a boss monster, it has recovery and removal options, but it is also really expensive to go into, costing 6 off the level 5s, or even 4 off of the level 6s. Yes, I know there are training cards and other ways to like boost memory to keep turn, but it just feels kind of expensive. So for that reason, I'm giving it a questionable sauce rating. While it is really cool that you can manipulate security attack into making it either a positive or a negative depending on the board state, I don't think there's enough here that really makes it worth going into. Okay, so now that we've looked at all the cards, I have to ask, who is this deck for? Like really? Is it a control deck for control players? If so, why would they run this over security control when this is basically security control at home? Is it an aggro deck? I mean, no, not really, because it's only aggressive at the level 7, everything else kind of just stalls out. Is this deck that's a lot of just playing one body, passing turn, and hoping your opponent doesn't remove it from the field? Yeah, bingo, it's one of those decks. But unlike Devas that plays out level 5s like it's nobody's business, you're always getting a follow-up with them, as play a Deva and then you play Deva in Raising. So even if something gets popped on field, you got some fallback options. Whereas here, your monkey's gone, adios, gotta do it again. And the thing is too, like, you're not really gaining hand size or using level 3s and level 4s to conventionally draw, because all the level 5's effects are around on play when attacking, and you're gonna want to Digicross them. So really your best bet is to run some sort of draw package, either purple or red depending on your flavor, and that's really about it, really. Again, crazy, I know, you're telling me a 5-card archetype isn't insanely busted and overpowered? Well, maybe one day, but not today. Again, the best thing you can do with this deck is just do a turn 1 full Digicross into Shakamon, because what's your opponent gonna do? They have 7 memory but nothing on field. But that's also like a super rare case of having the perfect hand, unless you've been taking those David Blaine masterclasses. And because it lacks that consistency and it really doesn't feel like a fully baked out archetype, I'm gonna have to give Shakamon 2 big shacks out of 5.
You get me, man's not hot.
Tune in next time to Sauce or Loss, where I'm gonna go fishing and see if we can catch something great, or if it's a catch and release situation.